Hey, y'all, listen, have you been wondering what's the current state for Section 8 rentals? Listen, you found the right video. Who am I? I'm Kareem Lewis, your trusted Houston realtor, the one that keeps it real with you, aka Sergeant Sales. And I'm back again, hot topic, talking about the current state of real estate for Section 8 rentals, right? So go ahead, like, subscribe, share, follow, help me, help you, help us. As always, you know these videos, I always come up with, calls or comments or different things that I get from some of my clients or just people that ask me questions. So recently here in Houston, right? And I talked about Section 8 for investors as well as for renters. And if you look from about 2 years ago, where a tier 3-bedroom voucher used to pay $3,300, right? And so you had a lot of options. Then they came out with a moves voucher where they dropped that same price down to $2,150. And I just been seeing in the news that, listen, they're going to reduce it even more, right? So I've been having a lot of past clients and things like that reach up, call, and talk to me like, yo, Kareem, like, what's good? Like, how can I find something? Like, I don't understand why, I don't see that many rentals out there, or the rentals that you see, they kind of, they look like homes, and it seems like, landlords ain't doing it, or they want you to have so much money, and I don't understand why. And so, of course, if I keep hearing it, I got to make a video about it to kind of educate and kind of let people know, like, what's the truth behind in the booth, right? So let's talk about it. Now, I want to explain this as real as I can, and I want you to play imaginary, right? We're going to go into imaginary land. I want you to imagine that you are a homeowner, okay? Now, if you're a homeowner, I know a lot of places in Texas is just like this, or wherever you at, you in Florida, you're in Montana, Jersey, whatever. Might be different cost prices, but it all ranges the same. For a new home, right? If you go into, you see some of these new home communities, even for a starter home, right? A starter home within the city limits, the suburb limits, not out there in the boonies, but somewhere in the immediate Houston area, for a brand new home, you're going to pay at least $2,500 for a mortgage, right? And that's all in with your payment and interest, with your taxes, with your home insurance, everything when you first purchase a home. A lot of these homes, right? So again, think of it. You're a homeowner, right? And a lot of these areas parallel, when you look at the rent values in that area, they're going to be about the same, about $2,600 to about $2,800. And we're going to use that as this picture that I'm painting right now, right? So now you're a homeowner. And let's say for whatever reason, your job promotes you. Now you're going from Houston. Now you got to go to Dallas, right? You love your home. This was your first time home. You going, they moving you for an assignment. The assignment might only be for a year. You coming back, you got to open up a new store or whatever you're doing, right? Again, imaginary, we playing imagination, right? So as an owner, if I know I got to pay $2,500, for my mortgage, and I know the rent in that area is about $2,800, right? By common sense, I'm going to try to rent it for $2,800. That's where I'm going to start off at. You're probably going to have to settle about $2,700. It's still a win. Why? Because as an owner, my household is paid. Likewise, I'm getting a little extra. So just in case, if repairs come up, the tenant that move in, the door got to get fixed or something got to get fixed. I got a little money built up in the piggy bank for those incidentals, right? And I'm covered. Again, this is the mind of an owner. You're an owner, right? So now let's fast forward, right? Let's talk about this in the mind of a tenant. Again, remember I told you a lot of people were saying, some of my Section 8 clients with their vouchers, because they got the 3 bedrooms that went from 33, now it's 2150 in these same neighborhoods, right? That they was getting 33. So clearly, if I'm getting 3,300, rent is 2,800. That means I can get me one of those new homes, right? I'm good. But now, if I'm only getting 2,150 and they talking about dropping it, guess what? You can't get it. Why? Is it because the landlord is being greedy? No, because we just played imagination land, and we just saw that. Listen, if I own a home, I gotta pay 2,500. Rent in the area going for 2,800. That's what I'm going for, because of course I'm not going to rent out my home for free if I can help it. Now, sadly, a lot of owners, because they're upside down on their mortgages, when you compare it to the rentals in the area, where I had one in January, matter of fact, where the homeowner, he's paying actually 3,800 for his house. And, the rental rates, he had to wind up renting the house for $3,000. So he's actually paying $900 for somebody to stay in his place. But I guess that's better than paying that other $3,000, right? So sometimes landlords take L's. And so you as a tenant, right, rather if you Section 8 voucher holder or you a regular renter, you have to realize this is what's going on, right? Every landlord is not a big corporation that came in and purchased a bunch of houses and they brought them cheap and they trying to rent it for a lot and they trying to, get everybody like people think. No, it's a lot of homeowners that, like me and you, they own their homes, life be life, and so maybe they had to move out. Maybe they faced divorce. Maybe they lost a job. Now they can't make the payments. Now, instead of losing the house, they can't sell it because maybe, in today's time, it's a big buyer's market. So again, if you're looking to buy a home, you need to hit me up, because today is the best time to buy a house, because listen, house prices are going down. And that's why a lot of owners are upside down, especially with the rental rates. They're upside down and they got to take losses, right? And I'm just keeping it real right now. Sadly, a lot of people are taking losses. So when you think, oh, people are trying to get us for the price, and I'm trying to get a house, and I don't understand it, right? But now let me go deeper, because I am the secret sauce king, right? So now I got to give you the secret sauce for Section 8. And again, I got to be real with my people. With Section 8 voucher, first of all, it's everybody knows Section 8 voucher is money from the government to help people out, to keep people from being homeless, right? It's to provide affordable housing. Keyword, affordable housing. Anytime you say the word affordable, right? Affordable does not mean luxury. If I say right now, man, I got to get some clothes that's affordable, right? I'm not going to go to Gucci, Fendi, Prada store, I'm not going to get me Birkin, I can't get that. That's not affordable. That's luxury. Affordable, I'm going to Walmart, Target, Goodwill, secondhand, some hand-me-downs. That's affordable, right? Same thing with a car. If I say, man, I got to get me a car that's affordable, I can't look at a BMW, the big body, the Mercedes truck, I can't look at these things. I got to look at the smaller economical cars, the little Kia Sophias, Ford Focus, buy here, pay here, something like that. That's going to be able to help me out and look out for people like me in my situation. That is what affordable means. Same token when you talking about homes, right? As I told you before, affordable means clean, decent homes or living units, right? That's clean and decent, right? Good condition, but they are affordable. And when you say affordable, you already know, you're already saying cheap. And when you say cheap, you already can tell the type of area or the type of, what you're going to have. It's clean, it's good, but it's not going to be luxurious, right? Likewise, if you have a voucher, that's not where you should be, right? And I'm just keeping this real. You should not be in the mind frame of, I'm trying to get luxury with an affordable housing voucher. Those are two things that contrast. Now, you know me. I am the main one that'll sit here and motivate my people, my listeners, my followers to do better, to have more, to upgrade your life so that this way, you can have the things that you're looking for. Again, and I'm not saying this as somebody that's trying to point fingers. I'm not. I'm saying this keeping it 100. I'm saying this as a person that started with, I remember when I was making only $10 an hour. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying this as somebody that had 400 credit score, somebody that had to go to the bricks, to start off. But I constantly, because I wanted more, I constantly reinvented myself. I constantly did the things needed to upgrade my life to make it better for me and my family, right? So, first of all, if you sitting here, you're listening, you still listening to me, because this is the long one. I know most of y'all are going to catch the Opus clip, chop version. So I hope you actually went back and saw the full version so you get the full understanding. But I'm about to give you some nuggets right now. Here we go. For all my people, if you saying, man, right now, I know because of life, I have to be more affordable, right? I got to be more ramen and noodles, right? My man just came out with that, cereal, no milk, and the struggle hustle, you know what I'm saying? The struggle shuffle was born from that, you know what I mean? And yeah, I came up like that. Many of y'all came up like that. Many people still in that, but you don't have to stay there. The number one way out the trap, right, is credit. You got to get your credit right. Don't talk to me about luxury and upgrades and what I deserve if you're not even taking the time to fix your credit. Because remember, credit is your name. If you have bad credit, that means you have a bad name. You don't have, that's how banks and things like that, the things that you need to even start the upgrade, that's how they're going to look at you. You even got jobs right now. If you got bad credit, automatically, they're not going to do it. So get your credit right. There's too many things out there to get your credit right. I got too many videos that show you. I preach about this all the time. You can look at my playlist. I got a credit repair. So if your credit bad, boom, there you go. The next step, right? If you had a no-win job, right? An entry-level job, and you've been at an entry-level type job that's paying entry-level type pay, and you've been this way for about 5-10 years, and it seemed like no change, guess what? You need to upgrade your skills, right? Again, have videos about this where, you can go to trade schools. They got trade schools out there. You can go back to college and get you some education. And just in case if you be like, well, I don't want to go to school and, or I don't have the money for school. Listen, they have programs out there to help you. I told you about Job Corps. At the end of the day, the military is always free where you can get training, right? But just in case if you be like, man, I don't want to do the military. They fighting wars. I don't like the president, yada, yada, yada. Okay, that's cool. But they have training programs right now. Every state, right? Because you're talking about affordable housing. You're talking about, being able to create jobs. Every politician wants to create jobs, right? Because if they want to get voted again, one, they want people to have jobs, because the more jobs that people have, the more income they're making, the more tax revenue they're generating, which makes those cities and states even better, because tax funds is what they use to build states and schools and roads and all that other bridges and everything else. This is how tax dollars work. Your tax dollars work, right? And they want home ownership, because the homes is what generate the taxes, the revenues, and yada, yada, yada. Right? And this is the process. So they create programs for people, like I know as a veteran, if you're a veteran, you listen to me, you don't have no excuse for being stuck in a dead-end job. One, because veterans, we already get preferential treatment when it comes to government jobs, when it comes to a lot of jobs. They already give you, if you got to take tests, they already give you like 10-point, 100-point advantages, right? And you have so many vet-friendly programs that will train you up, where it might start off as entry level, but they're going to give you on the job training with true certification. Then once you get those certs, once you get about a year in, guess what? Now you can go and, hey, now I can upgrade. Let me find a job, business that's paying a little bit more. that's what you do. And even if you're not a veteran, listen, they have the programs. Matter of fact, let me bust it down like this right now. Do you know in the U.S., they're hurting for medical workers, right? Nurses, CNAs, LPNs, all that stuff. They hurting, right? They're hurting. They had a lot of people retire, and a lot of people, they don't want to do, when it comes to medical, whatever. Everybody want to do, self-employment online, sometimes some things that might seem easier. But like I told you, sometimes those use your hand type trade jobs, they not going away. AI can't make a nurse. Come on now, somebody. AI can't build buildings. AI can't fix cars. AI can't fix up your AC. It's about to get hot as fish grease down here in Texas. AI can't fix that. They still need bodies, baby, to do this type of work. And so they have programs that help train people to be able to do these jobs. All you got to do is do the training. So now once you do the training, you upgrade your life. Again, let's just say physically you can't do certain things, right? So now I talked about self-employment, right? There are a lot of ways self-employment wise that you can do to upgrade, right? You got a car, guess what? You can do Uber, DoorDash, a lot of these, app sharing, type deliveries, right? Go one step further. Once you start doing that, you want to make a little bit more money, become a medical carrier or a carrier, period. Because you don't have to just do medical supplies. You can do drop-offs for like construction companies, other companies, and instead of getting the $7, $8, $10 type jobs that you see sometimes on Uber Eats and stuff like that, you get paid $30, $40, $60, even $100. And if you got like a box truck, or a truck and trailer, where you can actually do hauls, you can make even more money plus miles. So listen, there's jobs that you can do self-employed, you know what I'm saying, where you can build a business, digital products, become a realtor, sell insurance. It's things that you can do right now. You got to take a look, do a little bit of training, you learn, you can do it. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you one cheat code, right? I was talking to a brother the other day. And do you know porta potties? Everybody's seen a porta potty, right? Everybody see, if you went to a concert, you went to a school event, job event, you see them little porta potty, them outside toilets, they get stinky. People be like, ew. Do you know that if you get your CDL and your hazmat license, right? And this you can do in trade school within about a month's time, and you drive that truck, do you know you got people that's averaging $25 to $50, right, per cleanup of those porta potties? And this is fact. You can look it up and see if I'm lying, right? If you get a contracting gig, some people, they rent the truck to actually go out and do the cleanups. You can make even more. But even if you're working for somebody, you can average about $25 to $50 per porta potty that you clean out. Dirty jobs, the jobs that people be like, ew, you cleaning out porta potties. All you doing, stick something in, it sucks it out. You spray the water in, put some new tissue, drop them little blue tabs in there to make the water blue, boom, $50. And you look at most places where they got about 5 or 10 of them. I just told you it's $25, $50 each one, and in some cases even more. Boom. How much money is that in a day? And how long does it take just to do it? Not a lot. So it's really work that you can find, dirty work, but good money. So listen, I always give y'all the source to upgrade your life. There's no excuses. In 2026, I want to see all my people rise up. Don't get stuck on, oh man, affordable housing. Listen, let's change the narrative. If you right now, you're a person that you're saying, I'm seeking affordable housing. Right now, you got to get affordable housing, and I can assist you with that, right? I can show you some ways, but you got to have good credit, okay? You got to get that credit right. You got to get that credit right. Get the credit right, right? Once you get affordable housing, right? You get a nice place to live, good price. Guess what? The next step, now we're going to upgrade your life, upgrade your money. Let's talk about business tips. Let's talk about things to help, boost in and bring in more income. So now you don't have to talk about affordable housing. Now you can talk about, I demand luxury. I want gated communities. I want to build me up a home. I want 40 acres, whatever you want, your heart's content, because now you done generated the money so that you can do it. And I want you to win. So listen, this is Kareem Lewis. Again, as always, your brother from another mother, telling y'all, God bless everybody. Know that God is in the business still of blessing people. And this is not, just no hype money speech. This is for real. God is still in the business of blessing. Long as you following his word, learning the word, stick with the word, follow the word, let the word change you, and by faith and trust, allow God to accelerate you in this thing we call life. So brothers and sisters, God bless you. This is Kareem Lewis signing out.